wants to skate, he could skate. And we saw on the play where he was the decoy on the Ryan Suter winning goal, where Greenway dropped it back. All of a sudden, Aberg was like a bat out of hell, sprinting up the ice to the far post because he was because he thought that he was going to be able to get crossed a pass from Greenway and score a goal. And we just don't see that type of effort enough. He kind of lollygags around the ice, and so that needs to stop.
Absolutely. Let's do some Twitter questions. We have a lot in this studio show, so we can kind of catch up on some of these. From Artie Jones, with guys like Koivu, Stahl, and Rask being likely unmovable going into next season, what can Fenton do to free up space at center for guys like Eck and Cunnin to not hamper the development?
Well, I will say Cunnin looks to me a little lost right now at center. I still, especially the way that this team needs right shot, right wings, I would love to see him get back there at some point. Now, for this year, it might need to take, especially with Granlund and Coyle gone, it might need to take Rask coming back into the lineup. But to me, that'd be a cool thing to have next year is Cunnin coming in and kind of penciled in as one of those right shot, right wings. Eriksson Ek, I completely agree with you. I just said it. I just think that and now again, we don't know if Koivu's going to be ready by game one, but the first thought I had when they re-signed Eric Stahl was it just seemed to be the opposite of what Paul Fenton really wanted, was becoming younger and faster and giving some of these young kids a lot of rope here. And so the Stahl situation was interesting. I mean, I have it on good authority from some sources out east that the Wild were offered a first round pick and a player by the Boston Bruins for Eric Stahl, and Fenton's the one that turned the deal down and re-signed them. And I can tell you also that the Boston Bruins were not on Eric Stahl's no trade list, so he could have been traded there, and Paul's the one that backed out of that. So clearly, I think he just wanted a guy back that's scored a lot of big goals for this organization. He's a popular locker room fixture, and made an organizational decision that maybe picking 28th or 29th or 30th or maybe even 31st in the draft was something he was willing to give up to keep Eric in the organization for the next 2 years.
Really interesting. Really interesting. From our friend Bert Carter. Hope to see you at a live show soon, Bert. Do you see the Wild trying to re-sign Fair, or does it really depend on Boudreau's status after the season?
It could be both. I mean, I think Fenton probably likes him. I think Eric's a serviceable guy. It just matters of price and what else is out there. There aren't a lot of great centers out there, and so if you can get Fair at the same price, it might make sense to bring him back. I think he's been mostly good this year, although the penalty kill's been absolutely god awful here for the last several weeks, and he's been a big part of that.
From John Nutzman, hope I'm getting that right. When Matt Reed is recalled from and sent back to Iowa, is he physically moving back and forth, or is it a paper thing?
Wait, say that.
When they send Reed up and down to Iowa, is he physically going to Iowa, or is it a paper transaction?
Well, the time 2 nights ago, he packed his bags and was ready to drive back to Iowa. The only reason why he didn't leave right after the game is that Iowa had the day off the next day, and he lives in the Twin Cities. His wife and his child live in the Twin Cities, so he just was going there. And then all of a sudden, he was told, "Hey, come back." Same thing, and he flew to Nashville. My guess is he was on the flight last night. I know he wasn't on my flight down here, so my guess is that they did send him down after the game, which they have to do under emergency conditions. But with now Parise clearly hampered, by the way, just watch him skate. Yeah. And now the potential of Zucker being hurt, you don't know how he was going to wake up today even though he said he was fine after the game last night. I think that they brought him back up here just in case he could play tomorrow. And so my guess is he flew with the team. And in fact, I could almost 100% guarantee you he did, because the fact, actually, I will tell you that he had to fly with the team, because the fact that they announced the call up today when they didn't need to means that he must have been down here today. In other words, to save cap space, you could just make that call up tomorrow. But because he's technically up here right now and getting paid, he probably had to fly. He probably flew here with the team last night. I could promise you, I know on Twitter I'm seeing everybody like, I wish he could play for Aberg. I wish he could play for Brown. I wish blah, 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 blah. I could promise you that Bruce Boudreau feels the same way. He would rather play Matt Reed. He would not mind if one of those guys like, my groin hurts. Like, trust me. But unfortunately, with NHL rules, it just doesn't work that way. And there has to be a legitimate injury. Obviously, Aberg's not going to sit there and be, pretend he's injured because the team wants him to be injured. That'd be a quick way to get a grievance file against you if you're the team. So Reed's just going to have to probably, for the rest of the season, deal with this situation unless there is a legitimate injury here to deal with.
Interesting. Michael and I.
And again, if you don't know the rule, what the person was asking is that you get 4 post-trade deadline call-ups. 3 of them have already been used on paper transactions for Donato, Greenway, and Cunnin to make them eligible for the Calder Cup playoffs if the Wild don't make the playoffs or the Wild have a quick exit in the first round. Then these guys could go down to Iowa, play in the playoffs, get valuable development time, maybe even take Iowa on a long playoff run. So I totally get why the Wild wanted to do it. In fact, they would have loved to do it with Eriksson Ek too. But they used 3 of their 4 post-trade deadline call-ups. So now Reed's in this position where he's got to be this emergency guy, just constantly on a revolving door. It's kind of the same way why they just haven't recalled Nate Prosser. I'm sure that Bruce Boudreau wants Prosser in the lineup to help the penalty kill right now. It's been terrible, but I don't think they want to waste their final call-up right now.
Right. Michael and I both have the same insurance agent. It's Tony Hoagland, Hoaglund. He works out of Champlin, but you can work with him no matter where you are. He's been great for us. Check out Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent, based in Champlin.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Hoagland. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that $700,000 will my current insurance company pay? If you are unsure or can't answer all $700,000, you need to give us a call. State Farm has been number 1 in car insurance since World War II and number 1 in homeowners insurance since 1964. For a no-obligation review of your current policies, call us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at www.champlininsurance.com.
Tony also provides financial services, too, if you need that kind of help. From your friend, Russo Slacks, what's the weather like in Tampa, Mike? Please tell us. I think he's being very sincere about wanting to know how good the weather is in Tampa.
It's beautiful. I'll take a picture from my balcony from my palatial suite.
Do you get like man caves in your Marriott suites?
Well, this one, every time I stay at this one particular hotel, now whenever I get a room, I'm always disappointed because if you remember, this is the place where I got the presidential suite once.
I remember. So not that you're spoiled or anything.
Yeah, now there's no room in this hotel that could ever live up to that. But no, I'm about to go out. It's beautiful out. I'm about to go meet a couple of guys down at Ybor City to go probably sit on a patio and smoke a cigar. Probably Greenlay and the Pioneer Press writer Brian Murphy, and then walk on the water here. There's a scout that I'm friends with that lives on a boat right outside the Marriott here. He's an longtime NHL scout. Literally lives on this boat. It is his house. That's where he lives when he's down here. And I see him up north a lot, so I want to go try to check that out as well.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah,
tell us what it's like.
Oh, well, it's pretty neat also. So basically it's in the Marriott Marina here.
Mm-hmm.
So he also he gets Marriott points. Okay?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And he also
we know what your future looks like.
He has complete access to the hotel. So he's allowed to use the gym. He's allowed to use their showers. He goes to their concierge lounges. He can use their business center, everything. If there's ever like inclement weather or hurricane or something like that, they give him a room. It's pretty neat life this guy leads.
So what kind of boat are you going to buy?
Exactly. Yeah.
More Twitter questions, more topics coming up. Want to remind you of our Bite Squad deal. The State of Hockey stops in its tracks the first week of March each year to watch an event that is simply called The Tourney. If you're going to be watching the games from home, we want you to know that we're teaming up with the Bite Squad to bring you your favorite foods from hundreds of Twin Cities restaurants. If you enter the code HOCKEY, capital H, HOCKEY, when you order, you'll get 10% off your entire order Wednesday through Sunday, the week of the boys' State Hockey Tournament. We'll have more deals with Bike Squad as the month goes on, and you can find this information on my Twitter feed or on Michael's as well.
By the way, four
yes.
more days. If you do want to potentially go on a European vacation with Anthony LaPanta and me, who wouldn't want to do that? Germany, Switzerland, Austria. You have till March 10th to sign up. A lot of people that frequent our podcasts, including Vicky, Clyde, Bert, they are all coming on the trip, and Andy and Claudine as well, Brian and Karen. So a lot of people that listen to the podcast are coming. So
cool.
definedestinations.com, definedestinations.com.
From Nikolai, does Fenton still lose his mind when you get info about trades or what he's trying to do?
Yes.
Would you care to elaborate, sir?
Not really.
Okay. From Russo's Filter, Fenton had to be very pleased with the game last night overall. We're talking about the tie in Nashville, or the shootout loss in Nashville, however you want to phrase it. Fiala showed skill, showed out with 2 grapes. Granlund showed what an invisible Granlund game looks like. Agreed?
Yeah. 2 games in a row.
2 games in a row.
Yeah. Not he's they play a different system in Nashville. A lot more and one that I think will fit Granlund's game, but it's going to probably take time for him after 7 years of playing in this system to adjust. Where maybe that's one of the reasons why Fiala's had a little problems in his own zone. But I do think that Granlund will adjust and be fine in Nashville. It's just and the other thing is I get why they don't want to change the top line. But having Granlund play with Kyle Turris right now, nobody would look good. That guy is just terrible. And so you put Granlund on a line with Philip Forsberg, and he'll look quite good.
Also from Russo's Filter, best goal song in the league has to be the Sabres, right? Do you agree?
You know what? I'm terrible with that stuff. I don't even know what the Sabres goal song is.
Okay. From NH, what else does Eriksson Ek have to do to get on the power play?
Yeah, I'd like to see him on the power play. But look, they have a finite amount of lefties, and right now, obviously, you're playing Fiala and Donato. You're obviously playing Stahl and Parisi. You're obviously playing Zucker. So, unless he's going to suddenly learn how to play the power play point, there's just and you want, to me, Cunnin as a right shot guy in the middle of the ice right now. But you're right. I mean, since these moves, we haven't seen Greenway or Eriksson Ek on the power play, and hopefully over time it'll evolve. Remember, it took forever for Zucker to get on the power play, and sometimes you just got to master one thing, and they need Eriksson Ek right now on the penalty kill.
And also from Nikolai, with the roster so unbalanced, Fenton trying to get some right shots seems inevitable. However, roster construction makes this seemingly difficult with almost no spots available next year. Is Zucker gone regardless of how he plays?
I don't think it's regardless, but it wouldn't shock me. But you're right. I mean, they've got to figure out a way to balance this thing out, and there aren't very obvious spots in the top 9, and that's one reason why I do think that Aberg could potentially not get qualified, because I just think you could upgrade in that spot. Yeah, he should not be in the lineup right now. I mean, and as third line right wing, I just think he could do so much better in free agency. So a lot of it, the problem is that, a lot of it might depend on what he thinks he can get in free agency, and if he has a way of not knowing that he can 100% get one of these, quality right shot right wings. And if he's not, then maybe he qualifies Aberg after the draft. We'll see.
From Manhart, I love listening to Doug McLean tell stories on TSN. Does Russo Hockey have any stories about Doug?
I have a gazillion stories about Doug. Doug and I are very, very close. I just thought honestly 4 in a row that I could not tell on the podcast. They're just,
that's the curse of our profession. All my favorite stories I could not tell on the air.
Yeah. But he was, I was very lucky in Florida. Very lucky. I mean, first of all, as a young 21-year-old sports writer, and being an old Islander fan, I show up to a Florida Panthers locker room that has Bill Torrey as the president of the team, Billy Smith as the goalie coach, Dwayne Sutter, my favorite player growing up as an assistant coach, Denny Potvin as their color analyst. And so that was incredible. But then to have a rookie coach in Doug McClain, and then Brian Murray, who really, I don't want to say took me under his wing, but really helped teach me the sport. It was really cool. And Doug likes to joke that I didn't know what the definition of an icing when I first started covering the